Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. It's Let It Rip Friday.
Hi, I'm Linda Mitchell, 54-year-old elite obstacle racer, award-winning fitness competitor, gym owner, and author. Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat podcast, where we will approach the difficult topics of life, interview inspiring guests, and bring empowerment to all. This community is a place where we can be who we are instead of who others want us to be. Let's get started.
And now, a word from our sponsors, Essential Formulas.
Now more than ever, it is important to have a healthy immune system. Many health professionals agree that probiotics are a leading natural therapy for boosting immune health. Why? Because 70% of your body's immune cells reside in the GI tract. By taking a superior probiotic daily, like Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, with their postbiotic metabolites, you can enhance your overall immune system and immune response. For additional immune support, get RegActive's Immune Formula to boost your glutathione levels, since our glutathione levels go down if we feel stressed. Maintaining glutathione levels is a key factor for natural defense. For a short-term immune boost, try Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus, which provides probiotic and immune support and includes Brazilian green propolis for superior antioxidant support and vitamin E, astaxanthin, and flax oil. Be proactive about your immune health. Ask your retailer today about Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, RegActive Immune Formula, and Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus today.
I have been so busy lately with expanding the Sisterhood of Sweat and the podcast and rehabbing my injury. And what I find is the busier you get, the more important it is to find easy ways to take care of yourself. Organifi is a line of organic superfood blends that offers plant-based nutrition made with high-quality ingredients. Each Organifi blend is science-backed to craft the most effective doses with ingredients that are organic and free of fillers and contain less than 3 grams of sugar per serving. Like Organifi green juice with essential superfoods and a clinical dose of ashwagandha, it helps reduce stress and supports healthy cortisol levels. Or Organifi Gold, a superfood tea that supports rest and relaxation so you can wake up feeling refreshed. Each Organifi blend is easy to use by simply mixing it with water or your favorite beverage while on the go, and they don't compromise quality for taste. This stuff is so yummy, you guys. I love, love, love it. Organifi takes pride in offering the best tasting superfood products on the market at a price that works out less than $3 a day. You can experience Organifi's quality superfoods without breaking the bank. Go to www.organifi.com/sweat and use code SWEAT for 20% off your order. That's ORGANIFI.com/sweat and use code SWEAT for 20% off any item. And I'm going to start you off with a quote from Amanda Jane Consulting, based out of Australia. Narcissists gain power by destabilizing their victim's inner truth, denying reality, creating doubt, confusion, and imposing their distorted truths subtly and over time. Their victim loses the ability to think clearly or trust their own instincts. This is gaslighting. This is abuse. And I just want to unpack that for a minute. When they're destabilizing their victim's inner truth, it is in subtle forms, like they'll minimalize what your truth is. They'll deny your truth. They'll marginalize your truth. And pretty soon you are left not knowing your reality or your truth. It's kind of like I want to say a form of brainwashing in a way. And most of the time, a lot of the time, not that I'm not by any means a psychologist or someone, I'm not diagnosing anybody today, but I have definitely had have been around my fair share of narcissism, let's just say, to put it mildly. So I've learned a thing or two, and I've equipped myself. And the more that you equip yourself with knowledge and tools, you can deal with this sort of thing like a champion, like a pro, and or not deal with it, which is probably the better of the solutions. And I just want to give you a couple resources for anybody that kind of questions, are they with a narcissist? Maybe doesn't know enough about narcissism and they need some tools. And I think they work because a lot of it, people can be a little narcissistic without being full-blown narcissists. I think our society, there's a lot of that going on these days. So the resources I want to just give real quick, Rebecca Zung. You can look her up on YouTube. She has a lot of free videos. Lisa Romano is amazing. They have books as well and courses that you can take. And also, I really like Dr. Carter, and I believe his channel is called Surviving Narcissism. But I find them to be giving very good advice. And the one thing I would say also before we start is not to ever take it to extreme, because we all can be a little bit of something and we all have flaws. So I wouldn't go to the point of being extreme that everything a person you know is doing is narcissistic, unless they truly are a full-blown narcissist. So with that said, I read an article that I found very interesting. This might be a little triggering for some people because many times we don't even realize we had narcissistic parents. Then we marry a narcissistic mate because it's your normal. It's what you grew up with. You don't even recognize it. And why would we ever want to think anything like that about our own parents? So this article is a great article, and it was written January 5th, 2021. So it's very recent. And I'm not sure if I'm saying the lady's name right, but I'm going to give it a shot. Nakpangi Thomas, PhD, LPC, TITC, CT, has written this article, and I am going to go with just the 10 signs that your mother or father is a narcissist. So 10 signs, so you might get a clue. And these might be a little triggering if you haven't ever thought this deeply about it. So just let that kind of simmer on the back burner. So number 1, constantly needs the conversation to be about them. Number 2, immature and selfish behavior. Number 3, brags about your achievements to others, but rarely supports you emotionally, validates, or acknowledge you. That means like they don't brag on you. They don't say, you've got this. Go get it, girl. I believe in you. Or if you're a man, vice versa. They do not cheer for you. They're not saying to you that you have my emotional support. Number 4, they blame others for any problems that they may have that stem, that you may have that stem from their behavior. Like if they did something, it's somehow your fault. Blame shifting would be the word I would use. They're very good at it. You might start a conversation telling them one thing, and then they turn the conversation completely around so that they don't have to take responsibility for their behavior. They can't. It's kind of an illness, and they blame everything on you. They blame shift. Number 5, well-liked and or important to others, but controlling and harsh when no one is looking. Very, very controlling. And on what, like they said, harsh. Nobody sees it. You're the one that experiences it. Number 6, make you feel bad for not doing what they want immediately. Like their emergency is your emergency, and you better drop everything, or I am going to make you feel like a piece of dog poo not me personally, but the person, the narcissist, is going to make you feel like a piece of dog poo if you don't do what they want, when they want it, immediately, because everything is an emergency with them. Number 7, makes you feel guilty by boasting about how much they have done for you. They play the martyr. After all, the guilt trips. Oh, after all I've done for you, how can you do this? I am just sacrificing everything for you. I know you guys are relating to some of this. 8, harshly opinionated at home, but puts up a front for people. Number 9, ruthless and unforgiving, doing anything to be on top. It's very ego-driven. Number 10. So before I go to number 10, not all narcissists are the same. You got the covert kind, which are you would never know, because most of the times we think narcissists are, looking in the mirror all the time, bragging how great they are, driving the fancy cars, have to have the best of everything. That is probably not your worst narcissist, by the way. That is not your worst. It's the covert or the malignant, the covert that's very underhanded, sneaky, has a very low self-esteem, and they are very envious of your success, because when you win, they feel like they're losing. And number 10, they make you feel anxious, and they often lower your confidence. They take jabs at your character, your self-esteem, by the things that they say to you. So sometimes you just really have to examine all of the things. And another thing this article goes into, and I really want to go into this a little more deeply, because I did an exercise recently in this course that I'm in, and it was really great timing. It was being the parent that you never had, or basically parenting yourself and being that mother or father to yourself. And one of the things that we had to do in the exercise was write down what we did not get from our parent that we wish that we had. And we may not realize this till very late in life, but you might realize it early. I was a late bloomer. And also the other exercise was listing 7 things that you like about yourself. And then, how we could celebrate the strengths that we have and see that they may have come from some of these bad things, seeing the good. Well, I'm kind of adding to that. That's my take on it. Realizing that some of these bad things created our best qualities, and just being able to see things as they are, move on, set better boundaries for ourselves, and all of that. And I'm probably going to get a little bit vulnerable today as we're talking about this. But what the signs were in this article that you're the child of a narcissist, that you're likely going to struggle with these problems, certainly rang a lot of bells. So not all, it's not going to ring all your bells, but some bells. So number 1, low self-esteem, anxiety or depression, codependency, and other relationships. I feel like that one right there is a big one. Poor boundaries, ding, ding, ding. Being a people pleaser, ding, ding, ding. Inability to say no. I think a lot of us that have been raised in this way have a hard time saying no because of the people pleasing. Chronic guilt. Guilt could rule you. Blame and shame and all the manipulating stuff could make you pretty much do whatever the narcissist wanted you to. Emptiness. I don't relate to some of these at all. Probably not the first 2, not that one. Inability to express or handle emotions. I think that would be in the realm of being avoidant of conflicts, avoidant of having to have difficult conversations. And that could just be a normal thing that happens. And trust issues, definitely trust issues, because if you are with a narcissistic parent, they weren't there for you emotionally. They neglect your emotional needs. A lot of times may leave you feeling abandoned, unloved, marginalized, minimalized, so many things. You have then trust issues and you become severely independent because of not having been able to rely on your primary caregiver. We'll be right back to the Sisterhood of Sweat after this quick break. If you guys have been listening to the pod lately, you know that about 3 weeks ago, I completely kicked my caffeine to the curb. And I have done this before, but oh gosh, it was so easy this time because I had a little help from our friends at Organifi. I have been using the red juice, which is so easy. It tastes so great too. It has adaptogens in it. And what I love about the red juice is it tastes like fruit punch to me. And I mix it in a little bit of water and I drink it in the morning. And sometimes I'll have it around 2 or 2:30 when you usually get a little crash in your day. But it just gives me the best boost of energy. And I know most of us could use more energy in our day, but caffeine can only do so much. At some point, we need to look at the root causes of our fatigue. It turns out 2 main factors in low energy are chronic stress and a lack of nutrition. Organifi creates delicious superfood blends that address both of these problems. They use adaptogenic herbs and mushrooms to help balance cortisol levels associated with stress, and they make it easier to add more nutrients into your day. You just simply mix a scoop into water or plant-based milk of your choice and enjoy a natural boost any time of day. So like me, I have been getting great sleep, you guys. I have had stable energy all throughout the day. I'm crushing it. So I highly recommend Organifi to you. And today you can get 20% off any order by going to www.organifi.com/sweat and use the code SWEAT for 20% off any order. That's Organifi, ORGANIFI.com/sweat. We're back with the Sisterhood of Sweat. Some of the questions that you could ask yourself would be, do you organize your life around the happiness of others? Many times, if you had a narcissistic parent, you learn it was very unstable in your household. You didn't know when the shoe was going to drop. You might have felt like you're walking on eggshells. They could be very hypersensitive. Their emotions are all over the place. And so as a child, you learn to manage that. If you make them happy and you could manage that, you learn then that the happiness of others is really important for your survival. Do you blame yourself for everything? Like in a way, like, do you say to yourself when something goes wrong, I wonder what I could have done better? Did I love them enough? Did I give them enough mercy? Did I give enough of my time? Did I do enough? And it's because you were with that parent that constantly made everything your fault, and they blamed you for everything, or they shamed you, or made you feel guilty. And you're just a child. You're not equipped for that experience. So you have protection mechanisms that have kicked in. So those were some of the questions that I thought might be like amazing to be asking yourself, looking, am I fiercely independent so that I'm not reliant on others because I fear being emotionally vulnerable or abandoned? And I think you learn early on that your emotional needs are neglected. And so you value your own emotional needs a little less. So in this exercise that we did, which I thought was super cool, and I'm just kind of touching the tip of the iceberg, we're definitely going to have more conversations about this, and let me know what you'd like to hear more of. But recently I've had some experiences, I would say, this year alone that really opened my eyes to some things. And it was like the Band-Aid was being ripped off. And so it was painful. I read a book that was really good, guys, called Boundary Boss. And let me just say, I don't know if you've ever read anything that just cut straight to your heart and you're just like, it was almost painful because it was so real, so true, so many things. I felt like the bell was dinging the entire time I was reading the book. I had to put it down for a little bit, but I'm definitely going back to it because it's a great book. So, realizing we don't have boundaries would be a good place to start, and start practicing setting them, learn how to set them. Know that when you first set them with a narcissist, there's going to be a battle, guilt tripping, shaming, blame shifting. But if you could do some of these things, like go to some of these resources that I have left for you, you will find some tools that actually really work. You're going to realize when you're being gaslit, and when you finally see it for what it is, or when someone's stepping over your boundaries and how to set better ones, you're going to be able to be a boss. You're gonna not get gaslit. You're going to see it. They're not going to be able to do it anymore because basically they just set you on fire and then point because you're burning. They won't be able to step over your boundaries. You'll be able to see it coming and know what to do about it. And I think that's half the battle when you go through this kind of stuff. But what did your parent not do exercise? Like that's one to do. Write it all down. And these are mine. They're kind of a little vulnerable, but here we go. Acknowledge me, protect me, value me, support me, encourage me, spend time with me, allow me to make mistakes and learn, and celebrate me. Most of the times, narcissists really have a hard time celebrating your success, especially if it's the covert narcissist. And then I listed 7 things I liked about myself. And I really think this is a great exercise to do. And you guys do this for yourself because it's celebrating your great qualities. And as I do celebrate my parent, I celebrate their great qualities as well. I by no means will be holding any kind of resentment. I am only interested in healing. So list 7 of the things you like about yourself: consistency, tenacity, persistence, positivity, activator, leader, creative. And then I'd love to hear what your 7 things were. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because a lot of these things stem from childhood. They're likely to be showing up today in your life, at your work, with your friendships, in your relationships. And so it's good to kind of analyze and look at what you're feeling, why you might be feeling it, and where it stems from to begin with. Are you people pleasing? Are you afraid to make a mistake? Are you worried about the emotions and happiness of others because you grew up in a household that was unstable? You learned you weren't celebrated, supported, or understood. You had to work hard for approval. And that might be why now you're choosing someone or something that's hard to get, or you feel that you have to overachieve. That's a big one. You feel like you have to overachieve and you have to prove yourself, and you like to work to get a relationship. You're in a relationship where you barely get approval now. And back then, maybe you weren't the golden child, because a lot of times a narcissist picks a favorite. You were the scapegoat, the black sheep. But I want to say they shamed you, blamed you, guilted you. But what if you were normal? You were just normal. And these labels that were placed on you were not even remotely true. And when the narcissist parent didn't spend time with you and they devalued you and they minimized your accomplishments, then you feel like you have to keep driving and accomplishing more because you want them to give you approval. It's this approval that they've never, ever given you. But today, I just want to say that all these thoughts have kind of been rolling over in my mind. And what if you just gave the approval that you were seeking in all of these relationships, whether it's with a friend, a loved one, parents, someone in your family, your relationship you're in now? What if you just gave yourself the approval that you never got from them? What if you just gave yourself time and self-care and all of the love and bragged on yourself internally and wrote those 7 things down that you do amazing, and gave yourself a bubble bath when you need it or a pep talk when you need it? What if you parented yourself the way that you wish you were parented? More often than not, the healing that we need, we don't often talk about. It's buried under several layers, probably about 7 layers deep, and it's painful. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. Don't want to relive it. And who could blame us, right? But we need to, so healing can begin, because all of these things weigh us down. They suck our energy, and it's almost like re-traumatizing yourself because you never learn why you're reacting the way you do, why you're exhausting yourself for the approval of others, why you're chasing all these achievements, but you're never, ever satisfied. Because if you thought about what it was you were really looking for, it's all the things I mentioned. So why not just begin the healing by giving them to yourself and realizing you are worthy and deserving of those things. You are worthy and deserving of all of those things. I hope this helps somebody out there today. I would love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what your takeaways are and what your 7 great things about yourself. And if you want to share the things that you don't feel you got growing up, I would love to hear from you. And as always, you guys, keep on keeping on and have an amazing weekend. This is the Labor Day weekend. So this is your homework. Start giving yourself what you never received. Bye, everyone.
And I hope that all of our listeners have enjoyed this podcast. And if you guys have really enjoyed this, please review us in iTunes and also share this episode with your friends and your loved ones. Thanks again for listening to the Sisterhood of Sweat.